Okay, you asked me to make a video explaining what happened.
You are.
What happened? Okay, so this is exactly what happened. I took the vehicle, this Hummer, that I've had since 2015 when the frickin' game started. It was my first vehicle I stole. Never did anything to it. Club service entrance, right? Parking spot. I take it from there. So now the club service entrance parking spot is empty, right? No vehicle there at all. Okay? Then I'm going to drive to Los Santos Customs. Okay? And get it customized. Okay? Because I thought, well, hell, I got a little extra money, right? I'm going to use this as like my personal vehicle, so I'm just going to go do a little bit of stuff to it. Nothing too much. That's why I only spent 120. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit more.
Why are you paranoid? I'm going to ask you that, right?
I'm going to turn the audio down here. So, all right, here we're up. Here we go. So we're pulling into Los Santos, right? Okay, so I go in, and I didn't too much. I did, about 120K. Did the armor, as you can see, did the bumpers. I think I did a hood. And then we did that paint job. So not too much. And again, it's not really the money I'm concerned about. It's the fact that this could probably be fixed, possibly. I mean, I know the game's been out for a long time, so, but it might be something that could be corrected, because what happened was when I first bought the nightclub, I only had one floor of parking, and I purchased a vehicle, and when I wanted to put it there, it said there was no room, right? And then I would have to replace one of my vehicles. So when I said yes, it took a Tornado, ones that look like a 57 Chevrolet, and put it out on the street. So when I got back, I purchased another parking level and took that and put that on another level. All right? So that's sort of what is going to happen here next. It's the same thing. Right after I put the basic camo on. I really haven't played online, to be honest. I've been a streamer for a few years, and I did the story mode, and I've only gone back online recently, trying to get people back into the game because of COVID-19 and the fact that I'm not working. My business is totally like crashed this year. I mean, I'm like not making any money. If it wasn't for the PPP loan and a grant that I'm going to apply for here, I would be in dire straits. So this little bit of money I make revenue from YouTube donations from people watching the stream goes a long ways, but I've gotten a lot of people interested in the game. So it's a win situation, right? So up to this point, everything's fine. Right, then I decided to leave, right, the customization, and then this one, everything sort of went wonky. Okay, this is where I ran into problems, because if you look in the catalog, which I'm going to do next, the one in the catalog has round lights all the way across. And just on a side note, yesterday I was doing the Gerald mission, right, peer pressure, and just when I'm ready to drop off the drugs at Gerald's place, that white Hummer with the lights I want comes around the corner, and I'm like, oh, great, because I can't get it, because once I drop the drugs off for Gerald, it's going to reset the mission, and that thing's going to disappear. So I sat there last night for 4 hours trying to find that white Hummer with the round lights on it. It was hilarious. I went around everywhere looking for that thing. So obviously it's in the game, so at least I know I can go steal it now. Okay, so this is where I ran into a problem, because I'm like, man, I'm not digging this light bar, right? First off, it doesn't turn on, right? So I'm like, well, that's, and that just didn't look good. I decided I didn't really like it. So I said, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy another one, right? That's what I'm telling everybody on the video. Right? I said, okay, The reason I have it turned off is because I got the music on and all that crap, so you don't have to listen to all that stuff. So this is where I ran into a problem. I get in the catalog. I go, oh, we're talking, and I go, I know there's another one of these, right? And I said, so I'll just buy that one, and then I'll just customize that one, right? Because it's got the round lights that I want. The game is so much fun, though. I have to tell you, I'm not a player versus player in this game per se. It's very toxic in there, and I can't stream that. That's the one. See, it has these round lights, and I saw one just like that last night, literally. Like, so I know that it's in. I know it's in the game. So me, I like to find the ones in the game and steal them and make them mine. More so than buying vehicles. Sometimes, to me, that's a great adventure. So I just picked up from right there at the project. Well, I lived in Los Angeles, so for me that's the Watts Willowbrook by the. Okay, so this is what happens. So I buy this thing, right, and then this is why I ran into a problem because I'm like, well, I'm driving the one from the nightclub service entrance now, so that parking spot is empty, correct? In theory. So I said, okay. And it says select a vehicle position, and it says there's a vehicle stored there, Patriot. I'm like, well, it's not because I'm driving it. Okay? So just put that one there. And this is where I ran into a problem. Because, again, me thinking like when I had my Tornado, the 57 Chevy one, and it just put it on the street, I figured, well, I'll get back there, and I have 4 levels now. So I'll just simply park this on another parking level, or I'll take it over to my apartment, and I have a parking spot there. All right, so that's the plan. Of course, as you know, from me getting a hold of you folks at Rockstar, that's not how it worked out. Right? So let me tell you real quick. So I'm right there at the Watts Towers, right? Doing one of these kill all the gang dudes. And I see this real cool looking yellow. It looks like a Cadillac or a Buick Electra convertible. But it's already tricked out. It's got the billet grill. It's got the skirts. It's got those cool little mud guard flamey things. I mean, everything's done. And I'm thinking, well, it's one of the gang dudes' cars, right? So I'm not going to be able to get inside of it, right? It's going to be locked. And I went up to it and let me get in that thing. So all I had to do to it was put the insurance on it, right? And a tracker, which is like $4,500, and then big white wall tires. That thing is frickin'. It's so many people on the stream love that frickin' vehicle, man. They're like, dude, look, how did I said, you did all that? I'm like, nope. I said, I found it just like it was. So that started this whole thing about us talking for like 2 hours on the stream about cars, right? And the type of cars you can find. And I said, well, that's what I'm all about. I'm all about trying to find these ones that are unique in the game. There may be, they don't show up. So if you guys could add stuff like that in, that would be great. I'd be all into it. Okay, so this is where the problem starts. It won't let me pull it in and put it in a garage. And of course on the stream I'm like, hey, what's going on? Say it can't in it. So I'm like, like that's sort of weird. And this is where I'll start saying, well, do this, do that, get out of it, then try to get back in it. And I'm like, well, let me try it again. And it didn't work. I said, okay, well, let me take it to my apartment, right, and see if I can put it in my apartment. All right, see. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, let's go. And just to let you guys know, I'm the one who came up with the Steam guide back in 2015 to let you use the steering wheel and pedals. So I use a Logitech Momo steering wheel and pedals with this game because it rocks driving with a steering. People can hear it too. They hear the steering wheel. They're like, dude, are you using the steering wheel and pedals? I'm like, yep. They're like, oh my god. And of course, I have to tell me I go there. There's a Steam guide, shows you how to use that 360 CE, that emulator software. Yeah, so because and I'm 66 years old too, so I've been gaming for like ever. I'm not like a new gamer. But I do this stuff because I want you guys to be able to see how these things can happen to people. And there's probably a gazillion people that never report it because it's not that big of a deal for a car. But for you guys, it's something that maybe you'd be able to work on at Rockstar too. Because to me, to resolve this would be to simply, obviously, there's nothing parked in that Patriot spot. So once you drive out of there, the game should recognize that as an empty parking spot. And that would resolve the whole thing, right? Instead of claiming that there's a vehicle parked there. Because the only thing that was parked there was the new one that I just bought from you guys. Because I've looked everywhere. I even looked on the street thinking it was parked outside. You notice when I was driving away, I looked, and I even told people on the video, well, this is where it's usually parked, right across the street, your personal car, when you come out of the club. So, but I appreciate you taking the time on this, and it's a little bit of work, but thank God I know how to do this. So, because again, I know there's a lot of people that they don't stream and they don't have the video to be able to show you guys, and it's frustrating because I know you want to help them, and then they get all pissy. And all right, so here we go. Problem number 2: vehicle cannot be stored in your garage. All right, so this is what I'm like, what the? So now we're really chit-chatting. This is where it gets funny. I'm like, okay, so I can't store it. So I thought, well, let me go inside because I could swear I have an open parking spot, right? So then I said, well, let me return it to storage first. That's, see, it won't. I'm like, and then I try to get in, and you do not have access to this personal vehicle. I'm like, what the? Okay. So then we're all free, we're all laughing at one part. And I'm like, oh man, you got to be kidding me, Rockstar. Didn't say it exactly like that, but you guys were, I wasn't mad at you. I was just tripping. So then I said, okay, well, let me destroy the vehicle. If I destroy it, then I can call up, Morris, right? I call Morris Insurance, right? And then just have it replaced, right? That's I thought, well, this is not a big deal. I'll just blow it up. Which is hilarious because when I blow it up, watch what happens. I'll let you guys watch. Because I did the mechanic thing too about replacing it, calling the mechanic. And yeah, it's like, this is where we were totally, I already knew I was good. I was screwed at this point that I was going to lose this vehicle. And I'm like, great, my very first car I ever had in the game from 2015, and I just lost it. I'm like bummed. See, that's the part that bums me. You know what I mean? It's not the $50,000 car and $120K for customization. It's the fact it's the first car. So if there was any way you guys could get this one back, I would love you. Yeah, so I destroy it, and then guess what happens? A frickin' hell breaks loose. And yeah, see, I figure, well, I'll just call up, but before I could even call the mechanic, right, or the insurance, yeah, the police and of course I can't go in my garage because I'm getting chased by the police. So I tell them, I'm like, oh my God. And people are like, well, dude, steal another car. I'm like, no, I want to stay here so I can just call the insurance and, excuse me, a little funny here. But eventually I do call them up, and of course, I call them and they say all their operators are busy, and I call the mechanic, and that failed to produce another vehicle. So, and you might have fast forwarded by now to the end of this, but I'll just let it go a little bit here, since this is quite. So the end result is, it's the game, for some crazy reason, even when I was driving that Patriot, had assigned that parking spot, even though it was empty at that point, and literally the game should have just said, oh, okay, there's nothing there. Go ahead and put that new one in its place, and then let me just park the one I just customized someplace else. So I'm assuming that all makes sense now at this point to you guys, right? Of what I'm trying to convey. I guess I apologize if it didn't come across. Okay, so this is when I try to call everybody up, and none of that worked, right? And this obviously didn't give me any results. So at that point, I thought, well, maybe it'll be inside my garage, right? You know, you blow something up and then you go check your garage. So thank God it wasn't my Phoenix. That was the other car I stole. It was still parked inside. That was one of those lime green Phoenix. Yeah, those are the two that I first stole. So I thought, well, let me go check because, you know, maybe it was some fluky thing and it'll be there, right? But I haven't found very many problems, like I said, you know, as far as other than knowing now to pick a parking spot when you win a vehicle on the wheel within before 30 seconds goes up. I learned my lesson on that one. So, but nope, for the most part, yep. So I go here, and obviously, yep, it's not here, which I thought it would be. Oh, no, oh crap, man. And then I'm gonna go check. Then I thought, well, maybe it's back at the club, right? So I'm gonna go back to the club. We'll go check over there. But having lived literally right at the entrance to the studio for 16 years, I lived right here for 16 years in Santa Monica. So that building I just came out of is a office building. The white one where we have your CEO, the Maze Bank, is where Michael Stone has his production film company. This is Ocean Avenue right here. I mean, yeah. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, so I lived there for 54 years until I retired out of the area to a nice quiet place in Maine where we don't have all this cool traffic. So for me, it's the freakiest thing playing this video game. I can tell you guys that. And you'll be able to relate so well to everything. And of course, I always narrate to people, or I'm playing with somebody. I'll say, "Go to Marina Del Rey, man," and they're like, "Huh?" Or I'll say, "Oh yeah, I'll meet you over in the Venice Canal." You know, it's like, I guess I keep forgetting to use the game one. Okay, so I come back over here, and obviously when I go inside, I'm hoping to see the new one I have with the LED bar, right? But of course it's not going to be there. But I will log on today and try the mechanic again. But I've already done that a couple times since then for other things. So one would assume by now that vehicle would be here, right? I'm going to check all of it. I figure, well, let me check all the different levels so it's not on this one. I'm like, okay. Yeah, because I thought, well, maybe after I destroyed it, you know, somebody said, well, dude, maybe you destroyed it. It'll show up on one of your other levels. I'm like, okay. Yeah, not here. We love the Griswold station wagon too. I mean, everybody relates to Vacation with Chevy Chase as soon as they see that wagon. So yeah, I had to add one of those. So, but yeah, I like to steal cars in the game, man. Stealing what I told him, dude, it's GTA. It's Grand Theft Auto, man. It's not like get a bunch of money. Yeah, and then of course it wasn't going to be here. But I thought, like I said, I wanted to look everywhere because I was totally perplexed. And then I thought, well, maybe. I knew it wasn't going to be on 2 because 2 was full of cars. That's where I have all my custom cars. And then here's the damn one that I bought. This is why you're showing that I own a Patriot. Because it's the one you saw me buy for $50,000, but it's definitely not the one that I got locked out of. So, you can see what happened. So I have this one, which is cool, and I'll just... See, then I thought, well, should I try to move this one and then see if the other one will appear? I was like totally perplexed at this point. I was like, because then people in the chat were telling me, well, do this, do this, do this. And I'm like, nah, we tried that, we tried that. So I'm like, So I said, nope. I said, I just guess I'll put in a service ticket to Rockstar and we'll let them try to figure out what happened to it. I believe that's what I did at this point. Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much, and hopefully you guys will have a good resolution to this. I appreciate that. All right. Thank you.